Hello, and welcome to Admit One, your movie and TV podcast. Here on Rabbit Hole Media, I am one of your hosts, Jack Nedley Thompson, and as always, and as usual, I'm joined by my platonic husband, Kristian Lasham.
Wakanda forever.
Wakanda forever, indeed. We are here to talk about Iron Man 3. No.
It's Iron Man 2 on Saturday, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was making sure I got my order right. I had in this weird, I'm confused about what film's next, staying out myself well muddled earlier.
No, it's Iron Man 2.
Instead of Googling, I just thought I'll ask Jack.
That's a fair thing to do. It's also, like, if you go into the Marvel section on Disney Plus, they're in order.
Oh, that's handy.
They have... if you go into a Marvel and scroll down, they've got Phase 1, Phase 2, Phase 3.
Yeah, they do. You're right. I remember.
They're in order. Obviously, they're missing some. So it just goes Iron Man 2, for example. And then, for some reason, they've managed to get Homecoming, but none of the other Spider-Man movies.
It's odd. It doesn't make sense.
They've got the Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield ones, but they haven't managed to get Far From Home or No Way Home because... What? I don't understand. Red tape.
I reckon they don't even understand either. I reckon their executives at Disney I don't get it.
Oh, yeah, probably. Probably just like, what the fuck is going on? Why are Sony blue-balling us on this for some reason?
But maybe that'll change now that Bob Iger's back.
Is he?
Yep.
Well, I shouldn't say is he. I should say he left.
Oh yeah, Bob Iger's been gone for a few years. It's been Bob Chapek.
Tell me why.
Yeah,
Bobs.
They're both Bobs. But they sacked Bob Chapek off a couple of days ago with Bob Iger coming back in effective immediately, and he's come in and immediately just gotten rid of the entire board that were there that Bob Chapek had brought in. He's like, right, let's fix Disney again.
Oh, fair enough.
Well,
No Way Home I'm less confused about because it is new.
Yeah.
But Far From Home, nonsense. It was on Netflix, therefore, but it's not on Netflix anymore, I'm pretty sure. I don't actually know that, but I don't think it's on Netflix anymore, therefore it's not there. Madness. I don't care enough to look it up. Actually.
No, I don't care.
But anyway, we're here to talk about Wakanda Forever. We won't be doing the... I mean, I suppose we could initially score it, but we won't be ranking it into the...
I reckon we could give it a score, yeah.
Into the MCU list.
Just to keep making use of the graphics I made.
Exactly. So we'll use that, and then in June we'll put this in the ranking where we can come back for a... Let's be honest, it won't be my second viewing; it'll be my 19th. But this is irrelevant. Although a lot of Marvel movies over the last couple of years I haven't watched again.
No,
so should be interesting to see. When
I always watch them again at least once when they come to home release, and then I will wait and watch them as part of a rerun. I don't think I'd ever just randomly watch a Marvel movie.
Oh, I do often. Well, not that often, but reasonably. Like when I first got all my new speakers and everything, I was like, let's test it with the opening of Infinity War, and then I accidentally watched the whole thing.
Yes, I have. I have seen the opening of Infinity War, and I have seen Thor joining the fight in Infinity War multiple times because they're my two test points.
Yes, this is fair. I think I haven't watched No Way Home since it was released at home. I watched Shang-Chi when it came to Disney Plus, but I don't think any of the others. I don't think I've watched. Again, I can't remember. Who knows? Anyway, Wakanda Forever. General thoughts. We'll keep it spoiler free, despite the fact that the only person here has seen it. Go. What did you think of Wakanda Forever?
Right, first of all, I just want to preface what I said last week, which was the first Black Panther film, and the Black Panther character is not my favourite of the Marvel and the MCU stuff. So there is already like a level of disdain, if you will, because it's just not... I don't link and connect to it in the same way I do some of the other characters.
Disdain sounds strong.
I said if you will.
I won't.
Well, there's the problem. And obviously I've been down on the MCU, so I went into this really just kind of like, let's watch this then. Pleasantly pleased. It's good, it's fine, strong, great. Wouldn't write home about it.
Fair enough.
I don't have anything particularly bad to say about it either. It was like good to strong area. Like, yeah, cool. It felt I think I was just more relieved that it was back to what we've been saying from the trailers, a more serious tone for what is about a film with a man with wings on his ankles. As serious tone as that film can be. It felt more
the
Marvel.
most top-heavy flight. He would be flying
I
upside
thought this.
down.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
I was gonna say.
Serious tone. Wing
It felt like the most MCU thing we've had in a while. Strangely, because the last few things have just been all over the place. Like, you know, I've said repeatedly, I didn't like Love and Thunder. I don't like the decisions it made and the route it's gone. The shows have had similar things, especially with She-Hulk. So it's been the first thing in a while where I was like, okay, this feels like it feels like Phase 3 MCU.
Feels like it fits.
It feels like it fits, yeah. And I know I'll get to that in a minute. Actually, I will get to that in a minute. And as I say, I don't think there is anything particularly bad about it. There was a couple of bits in the middle where I felt the pacing dropped and I just wasn't as interested in what was going on in the middle of it. That's a very long message of many. I'll come to that in a minute as well. And I also, for me, one of the bigger issues, and it's not a big issue, it's a very personal thing because it's a very subjective thing. I don't find Letitia Wright and her character as interesting or compelling as Chadwick Boseman and T'Challa. So it was like, she did great with the role she had. I think she was good within it, but I just don't think she's as good or as compelling or as convincing lead. So for me, it was kind of like, okay, like you're making the absolute best out of what is an incredibly tragic and difficult situation, and good on you for making the absolute best out of that situation. But I can tell this isn't ideal, and that was always just kind of there to me of like, I don't know if she was ever hired with the intent of leading her own film, and maybe she wouldn't have been the actress that was hired if she was. I don't know. It wasn't in those things. Maybe she was the best, but something about what her character and stuff just wasn't quite as interesting to me as what I think the previous Black Panther character was. So that was a small hurdle for me. But overall, I think it was really positive, and I think they dealt with the Chadwick Boseman situation fucking excellently, which we'll talk about more in a minute. I think the villain was really good, really interesting. Had some great action sequences. The soundtrack, which you said in your little review, was fucking excellent. A real good soundtrack. They did some great stuff with the soundtrack. And some nice little unexpected twists and things like that as well. There's maybe one big decision. If I was writing the film, I would have made the opposite decision, which again, we'll talk about in a minute. But overall, though, fairly strong. Good. Fine. Enjoyed it. Sorry, that took me a long time to really say anything that didn't make much sense. I'm having tea.
See, this would be interesting then when we get into the nitty gritty, because I thought this was fucking excellent.
Fair enough.
I thought this is the.
I don't know if it will be that interesting because I don't think anything was in any way
Well, yeah,
bad
no,
or egregious. So
of where we fall off as to the different things. Because
I think it's more almost like the God of War situation, in a way, or almost a reverse, where it's like the things that you really like about it just didn't chime with me in the same way that what's probably the situation with God of War. There's things that I really like about it. That's not
we were
quite
pretty even.
Yeah, maybe
before you played the last bit of the story,
True.
we were pretty even on that. But yeah, I thought this was fucking phenomenal. It's probably the best movie of Phase 4, but that's not saying much, to be fair. It's only got No Way Home and Shang-Chi to really compete with.
No Way Home is the only reason I wouldn't actually agree with you, because otherwise...
Because I think if you remove the big hype from No Way Home, it's not that great.
Yeah, but if you remove that, then you've removed the entire film, essentially. So.
Well, no. It's the story isn't... of No Way Home, like the actual film A to B isn't that great. It's the fact that it's just got a couple of hype moments in it. To me.
I don't disagree with you. I just feel like, but that's what the film is. Like, that's a weird comparison to me. 'Cause it's like, the story is that. That is the story. If it wasn't those things and those moments, then it wouldn't be the same story. So I'm not really sure what you mean by that. Well, no,
the story is... to a degree, the story is mainly the trying to remove the memory of who Spider-Man is from. That's his goal. That's his objective.
Yes, but there's a cause to that objective. There's not just... He hasn't just woken up and gone, I wish no one knew who I was anymore. There's a series of events that makes that happen and get to that point.
It's the opening of the film. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but like it then... Because of then what happens and everything around that...
I know. I would have written that in a way where it's not just hype moments, where it's actually a good through line and not just... Look who we have.
I feel like this is a conversation for when we do this film again.
Yes, I agree. Because, don't get me wrong, I love No Way Home, but but I just think this is the best movie in Phase 4. It's probably better than a lot of Phase 3 to me as well. Not all of Phase 3. There are some movies in Phase 3.
Yeah, no, I do. I want to clarify. Like, I don't think it's in any way a bad film. It's. If I'm looking at it objectively as a film, it's definitely up there, and I'd agree. I'd say as a film, it's probably better than Shang-Chi. I personally wouldn't say better than No Way Home, but that's a different thing. It just depends on what your perspective is. It's more just I just don't vibe and gel with it. Something about it just doesn't tick for me, or like I don't know. Something about it just doesn't quite make me. I don't know how to explain it. Do you know what? Do you kind of know what I mean though? It's just something about it doesn't quite connect with me, so I don't have that same like deep personal like an affection to it, which is why I would rather watch Shang-Chi over this, even though I can tell that objectively this is probably the better film. Fair enough. It would definitely. I think this will probably sit high on our ranking though. Oh, yeah. I think it will sit quite high in the thing. I agree with that.
Yes. I don't really know what to say without going into specifics.
Well, then let's spoil it.
We'll go into the spoilers. One thing I will say, it's not particularly spoilery.
Mate, when Tobey Maguire turned up, Jesus.
No, that's my problem with No Way Home. It's Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. This is a war movie. Like, it's not a superhero movie. It's a war movie, and I fucking love war movies. So I'm already predisposed to like this. I love things like Hacksaw Ridge and Saving Private Ryan and Lone Survivor and all 13 Hours and all of these like war movies. I think they're fucking excellent. But and this is well and truly a war movie with blue people. Some of them are blue, some of them aren't.
Yeah, I was thinking it all the way through, and I was like, I'm not going to question it.
I figured it out. I did figure it out. They're blue when they're on the surface.
Ah.
They're not blue underwater.
I didn't put that together, but you're right. They are only blue on the surface. Yeah, okay, cool. Fair enough.
One thing, and this isn't specific, this is a problem with Aquaman as well, is that I don't care if they're beings that can breathe underwater. You can't talk underwater. I would have preferred that they develop like a sign language system or something, or like a
sonar, different type of sonic thing.
Yeah, even if that's through technology or whatever.
Well, but like dolphins and whales communicate.
Well, yeah, I know, but in the myth of Atlanteans, they don't use sonar, so you could develop tech to...
For sure. I just mean that you could have easily have written in that they've developed an ability to make a sound that can travel underwater.
Oh,
That's what I mean.
Yeah, but they... I've always hated talking.
No, yeah, I agree. I thought that.
Underwater. It doesn't matter. Open your mouth. Well.
I also did feel like... I was like, okay, so this plant's giving you the ability to breathe underwater, but your body hasn't really adapted to cope with being underwater. You would think they'd have like...
Well, they didn't just say breathe underwater, did they? It completely changed and mutated them. That was the whole...
Yeah, but I'd argue it didn't. They just were people... They just looked like people with gills. And it was like, you'd think they'd have like...
They didn't... They don't have gills.
I'm sure you see gills on them at one point.
Maybe, I can't remember. Maybe the very, very, very early, like the flashbacks from...
Right. I'm sure you saw gills on them.
But no, because they
make a comment about Namor. Namor doesn't have gills.
I'm pretty sure none of them have gills.
I'm sure I saw gills on them, but maybe I just didn't. Maybe I saw something that looked like a gill and it just wasn't.
Because I'm pretty sure they have a conversation about the fact that they like jellyfish.
Called?
Oh, Tara Cohen.
Take it. It's like Wakanda forever, people. Wakanda.
I mean, in the comics, they're Atlanteans, but they obviously wanted to avoid Aquaman with that one.
Yeah.
But, So Talakoa, I think, is the city that they...
Talakan.
Talakoa. I swear they just...
Yeah, no, they have gills. They have gills on their necks.
I didn't notice that at all, because they had an entire conversation about how, like jellyfish, they
Yeah, but
absorb
that
oxygen.
conversation was specifically about Namor.
I see.
But yeah, they had gills on their necks, and the water cages over their mouths and around their necks, so they could still breathe. Yeah, as Hannah has said.
See, I don't see. It was so, this is the problem with seeing things on release day and having to wait for you fuckers to watch the movie. I forget things because it's been like 9 months since I've seen this movie, but I don't remember around the neck at all.
Oh right. Oh yeah.
I
So
just
the
remember
mask went
over there.
here and like around their necks.
Begs the question: why would you put it here if you have gills? This is clearly useless to you.
That's how gills work. You take the water in through your mouth, and then it filters through the gills and out through the gills.
I see. I didn't know that.
That's what fish do.
I see. I didn't know that. But yeah, talking underwater, I hate it.
Fair enough. See, my complaint was like they were otherwise mostly completely humanoid. You could tell by the way they were swimming around, which is exploring Talakan, that they're kind of just like
They're humanoid, yeah.
yeah, but they're like just floating like this and just like swimming. It was like you'd think they'd have like webbed hands, like webbed toes or something, because they're aqua people that are designed to live underwater. You would think their bodies would have adapted and evolved as part of this thing to live underwater more. I just thought that was strange. All the way through, I was like, you look too much like people. They'd be all wrinkly skinned as well.
Maybe.
I get wrinkly skinned after being in the shower.
That's because we're not supposed to be underwater.
This is true. This is true.
It's probably why they go blue when they come out
It's
of
true.
water. We don't do that.
Depends how cold the bath was.
But that would be being in the water that made us blue. Not coming out of the water.
Hannah says, I like
and
that.
cold water makes you pink. You go really red if it's super
It's
cold.
true.
Don't you?
Yeah, it's true. Hannah says, I like that football game they played in Talakan is an actual game they played in Mayan, Mexico. Yes, it's like I remember learning about that when we were looking at like Aztecs and stuff in school. I remember that.
Do you know what I find mental?
Many things.
Oxford University is 350 years older than the Aztec Empire.
It's a strange bit of trivia that I was not expecting to be told, nor was I expecting to be a thing.
Neither was I. It was in... I was reading this thing about facts that don't make any sense.
Right. That definitely doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make
yeah.
any sense. I'm thinking Aztec Empire, billion years pre-Jesus. Like, exaggeration, obviously, but yeah. Anyway, should we talk about this film?
So I want to talk about... I really want to talk about the opening.
Yes.
And the way they opened the film. And I actually think it was the best bit of the film. Because not in a bad way of everything else, I just think the way they dealt with it and the way they opened the film, I think was fucking excellent. I think it was the best way you could have dealt with that situation.
In today's episode of Why I Closed the Twitter app, it was people complaining about how disrespectful this was to Chadwick Boseman.
How was that? In what way was that disrespectful to Chadwick Boseman?
It wasn't. It's just people need something to be up in arms about because human beings need to be nuked.
I don't want to talk about social media anymore. The next time a conversation comes up referring to with something I saw online, I'm done. I can't deal with it. I can't deal with it anymore. I'm sick of the unbridled negativity on everything for no fucking reason. Oh. Anyway, I fucking loved it. I think the way it started with just like the way they shot it and everything as well was just like manic chaos everywhere. And it was clear straight away that what they were doing. I was like, fuck me, okay, fine. And I think the parallels they put with it. So there was a line in the film where it's like, oh, he suffered without telling anyone, which is exactly what Chadwick Boseman did. He filmed the first film without telling anyone that he was suffering and going through all of this, whatever. And and that he was dying, and you know, and just the fact it was done is he had to die. Like that was the only thing he could possibly do to not have that character was he had to die. Mm-hmm. But then it's like we had said, like, how do you deal with it? Because you can't really kill him off screen because that's always shit. But you also can't kill him on screen
because you would need a CG
because like weird,
work. Uncanny valley monster. Yeah.
Which I think actually would have been more disrespectful.
I agree.
I think
it's always disrespectful when they bring back dead people, and they do it all the time, particularly Star Wars.
Yes, especially when they do it for random characters like Peter Cushing. Anyway, different conversation for a different day. But the fact they did it as he died off screen, but it wasn't so and so died. It happened on screen but off screen. It was weird. It's kind of like
he was in a different room.
He was in a different room, but you were there for the situation, and because they had the thing where she was constantly checking his heart and stuff like that, and his vital signs, he was kind of there, and it made sense that even if the actor was alive and well, and they were killing a character off, you could see that working, being shot and presented in that exact same way as an effective way of doing a character's death.
Mm-hmm.
Because seeing people find out about it is more impactful, I think, than seeing it happen as well when you do that right. And that's what it was. We didn't see it happen, but we saw
Shuri,
yeah. I kept going Letitia, and I was trying to think of her real name. Character name. You see Shuri and her mum react to it in real time, and the impact of it. And I just think it worked really, really well of just setting up that this film's more serious. It's dealing with a serious situation, and then the Marvel ticker with just silence, with just the wind in the background, was like haunting, but good. It was excellent, with just all of the Chadwick Boseman footage, like brilliant choice.
How to start a movie by using a mallet to my testicles is essentially how they started that movie, and it was great. It also just introduced a lot of elements that would come back later.
Yes, it does, yeah.
As well. So I think it was just done really well in setting up the movie, and also the most respectful way possible of being able to address the fact that obviously Chadwick Boseman has died. They could have done a Fast and Furious and used his brother. No, they shouldn't have done anything. I think the only reason the Fast and Furious scenario was even mildly acceptable was because they were in the middle of a film.
Yeah.
As opposed to, this is the next film. Like, if they ever try and bring him back Paul Walker back in another movie.
I don't think they would anyway.
Oh, no, I don't think they... I think Vin Diesel would throw the director out the window.
I did... It was quite amusing. There was a very talkative couple behind us that was pissing me off. But as the ticker tape ended, there's like a moment of silence before it starts off, and we just heard one of them go, "How did he die?" And then her bloke go, "Were you not watching?"
I hate people like that. If you're a person who asks questions during a movie, you are not allowed in the fucking cinema. Use your brain, especially in the cinema, because I don't know. I'm watching it with you.
Yes.
Like, they haven't answered that yet, have they? Otherwise, you would know. I hate it.
But yes, I think that was brilliant. I really enjoyed that, and I think every time that they kind of had to talk about, like, they didn't just shy away from it either. It was a talking point.
You could have very easily seen them just
done, move on.
Like,
yeah,
it's happened between films. We don't need to worry about
Which is what I was worried about.
Yeah.
I think the fact they just took it on the chin as this is the plot. This is, or at least the basis of some of the plot, and for what Shuri's character arc needed to be, and her motivations. And then linking that with later on, just with continuing to take stuff away from her and killing her mum and everything else. Like, although it's all quite drastic, it just really helps to build that character and the decisions that she had to make and how she ended up coming to that decision. So I think that worked really, really well, and to just keep coming back to it and keep talking about it and not just pretend it didn't exist.
No, I agree.
And focus on it being an issue, a real life issue, because it is a real life issue. These actors and the fans are all hit by it. You know, it was everyone that properly cares about the MCU when we woke up to that news was like, oh my god, like, it just, as I said before this, the character wasn't one I was particularly connected with, but was connected with enough as part of this franchise to be like, fucking hell, okay, like that sucks hard. Mm-hmm. So I think to just address it and say that we know everyone's hurting, so we're going to mourn together, mm-hmm. I think was really, really good.
Mm-hmm. And I think the funeral scene was...
Oh, yeah, it was.
That was for.
Really, I actually really liked the visual choice there. I don't know if there's actually like maybe a actual cultural thing to this. I just don't know. But with them all being dressed in white, I really like that. It's obviously typically in the UK and Western, everyone dresses in black. I don't know if that... I don't know. Do not know. But there was something about it as being like almost a contrast, but it was
the Western world, we're particularly negative on death, whereas a lot of other places aren't.
They see it as a passing on.
Yeah, exactly, and especially in a culture, although fictional, like Wakanda.
Yeah.
They very much see it as a passing on point. Although part of the plot of this movie is that Shuri thinks that's all bullshit.
Yes.
I do have, but I just thought all of that was just the costume designing for that scene was phenomenal.
Agreed.
That would be. Can we all have floating coffins? Just, I realised it was like a, what do they call it? Shit, tractor beam? Is that it?
It works.
Is it a beam that comes out of a tractor?
Yeah, why not? We'll call it a tractor beam.
Yeah, there's something like that. Beam me up, Scotty, and all that nonsense. And yeah, I just thought all of that, all the shot choices and everything during that entire sequence were just how to start off this movie, making you feel as miserable as possible.
Yeah, but also I just think it sets it up really well.
Mm-hmm.
Sets
I
up
agree.
everything that's going to happen very
I
well.
agree. I do have a question about royalty lineage.
Shoot.
Would the mum have become the queen again?
I was questioning this, but I guess it was a case of if Shuri said no, because I think they make a point of that she doesn't want to take up this role in this mantle.
They do.
So if
but
she
I
had
also
abdicated
feel
and
like
gone, I don't want it.
It's the sort of culture where we're like, well, tough.
Yeah. Fuck it. I thought
We do know who the current leader of Wakanda is now, though. They don't say it in film. I hate this, but it was all post-film stuff. We know that. M'Baku.
Yeah, it's heavily implied that it's M'Baku.
Yeah. But I did wonder, who the fuck is he challenging?
Yeah, I wondered.
Because Shuri's not there.
Maybe he's just going to beat her mum's corpse.
Oh my god!
Sorry. I thought the Queen was fucking outstanding in the scene when they go to the UN. And that scene was
absolute
excellent.
Bad assery happening there.
Everything about it was the fact that they did that kind of like parallel.
The invasion of the
thing they were
compound
showing
and-
it at the same time, even though it had already happened kind of thing. I thought that was so good, so well shot. Great action sequence anyway, the invasion of the compound. When they opened the door and the Dora Milaje just walked out, I was like, oh, here we go. This is going to be some sick stuff.
I also think one of the pluses of this film is they gave the Dora Milaje way more to do and actually gave the individual members, or at least some of them, way more of a personality. And way more of an actual character other than just Okoye, which I think was a very smart decision because they're great.
Yes, yeah, and Okoye is great, and giving her something and a reason to have some form of development and stuff as well was great. But honestly, when she's in the UN and she just basically tells them off, it was.
You would be like,
yeah,
the French were shitting themselves.
That's pretty normal anyway, to be fair.
But to be fair, the surrendering is a bit of a stereotype at this point in time. But that was, oh my god, that was so cool. I also it goes to show the balls of other countries and the idiocy of other countries, because it's blatantly I don't care if you're the States or if you're NATO or whatever, you can't win. You absolutely can't win.
I think that was important as well, of setting up that they needed to actually set up, because of the way the rest of the plot goes, how strong Wakanda were in terms of their intelligence levels and as well as their military prowess and their technology, but the intelligence behind them. They are already a force to be reckoned with, which is why when Namor comes along with all of his fucking atrocities, it's kind of like you kind of see already a believability that Wakanda are capable of winning that fight against even them, because you've seen that they will happily take on the world if they need to, but they know they won't do it. And it sets up that right side on the right side of the morale compass, isn't it? Of, we can take you on if we wanted to, but we don't want to. There's no need for us to do that. That's not what we're here for. We want to help you. We don't want to fight you. That's not what we're all about. So when Namor and his lot come along and it's the total opposite, you can you believe early on, okay, they've got a challenge, but I can see why. I see a reality where they can still win the fight, sort of thing. Although I think he was a great character, but I do think some of the not so much motivations, because I get it. I get why he would just be like, yeah, we'll just take on the whole surface world, fine, whatever, and you can help because of
you're in a similar boat.
You're in a similar boat. I get that. I do question, because they didn't really ever tell you, or at least I noticed. This weird thing where he was like, don't tell the Americans about us. Don't tell the surface world about us. It must remain a secret. But somehow they knew everything about the surface world. So where are you getting that information from?
Same way Wakanda would have when they were a secret as well, I suppose. Spies
but
although they are blue.
Don't tell anyone about us, but we're quite happy to go and just attack some people in the middle of the street.
What street? Oh,
the whole thing where it just goes, we're going to kidnap the scientists. We just send a bunch of my military with our weird technology and our blue fishmen and attack. Don't tell anyone about us, though. It's like, well, you're going to get caught if you do that.
No one saw them.
No one did see them. That's true.
The thing I don't buy is not that they didn't see the blue people.
The whales.
Yes. The orca in the middle of, what was it, New York? LA?
Something like that, yeah.
Somewhere in America. It was
where orcas are not typically found.
Yes. Yes. Other than SeaWorld. But they're not usually splashing about under a bridge. I feel someone would have noticed that.
Yeah, that's my point. It just felt odd.
And the drone crash.
Risky. Yeah.
I feel like, though, that was a... Shit is just hitting the fan and the ball is rolling at that point. And, like, we've got to get this done. I think it is Massachusetts. We got to get this done. We can't let them escape at this point because of this, that, and the other. It does feel weird. I've always found, obviously, it can happen, but the child developing on their own, developing a massively important piece of technology that the entire world couldn't figure out combined. I'm just like, I get the idea of coming up with something new that no one else has thought about, but something that people are actively trying to do, I think that's just mad.
She was actually one of the things in the film I wasn't so keen on. I didn't think I cared for or liked her character and the Ironheart character. I wasn't really sure why they felt it was needed in the movie, for one. I also I don't want an Iron Man replacement. And that's kind of, in a way, what that character would fulfill going forward. It's like, I don't feel like I want a replacement Iron Man. Like, if anything, we've still got Rhodes, War Machine, so I'm sort of fine with just him.
And Rescue, if they want to bring her back.
Yeah. So it's just like... I'm not convinced I need this character, and then I don't think there was anything interesting enough with her character as a person to make me like, I don't really care about you.
But it was all about her. To a degree.
What was?
The war?
Well, yeah, no, I know, but like her personality was just kind of, I don't... like.
She was very standoffish.
Yeah, there was nothing about her that was particularly interesting to me or likable or compelling or anything. You know, and they're doing a show about her, aren't they? I'm sure they've said that.
Yeah.
And obviously,
they've already started filming that.
Obviously, they've got time to turn that around. Might see her in the show and go, oh yeah, she's great. But her introduction, this was just, there was nothing about her that made me go, I'm interested to see more of her. It was just, I don't really
particularly,
care why you're
the
there.
thing that really went, why have we done this then? Is the fact that they gave her a full blown suit.
Yeah, exactly.
And then said you can't have that.
Yeah.
So now she's going to have to start with the basic suit again.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like that was stupid.
Yeah. I agree. That stuff all bothered me. I didn't like it.
But and their excuse was it was made out of vibranium. Okay, but cap shield, Bucky's arm, the suit you made for Falcon.
Yes.
Like all of these things.
Isn't there a spear knocking around somewhere out of vibranium? I remember.
That's Okoye's.
Oh yeah, no, it's Okoye's.
But yeah, I found particularly weird, and I didn't really like that. I have nothing necessarily negative, but also nothing necessarily positive to say about Ironheart. She was just there.
Yeah, I think she was just there, which for me creates a negative overall, because it was just okay. Like the idea of there needing to be a scientist that had to go and save, I was fine with. Just when they kept bringing her in, using her in different ways, and making her a hero character. At that point, I just don't feel this needs it. I don't feel it's adding anything to what's already quite good.
No, I agree. I think in like the last fight, I would have preferred, especially considering he's had more of a role throughout the other Marvel movies, but I would have preferred like M'Baku had more time to shine because I love that character.
Agreed.
And I know they did give them quite a lot of time to shine, but Okoye and I cannot remember her fucking name. The other Dora Milaje who got one of those suits at the end.
Annika or something, wasn't it? Aneka?
Something like that, yeah. But I would have rather seen more of that. I know we got a lot of Okoye, but the other characters, I just didn't feel like made a change for the scientist not be a middle-aged white dude. I'm surprised it wasn't Everett Ross again.
Yeah.
But we had Val make a random.
So I was going to talk about Val. I like that she's becoming. I liked her inclusion because it's what I've not been enjoying about MCU so far. Is these threads aren't coming together.
It's now a thread coming.
It's now a thread coming together. So I was like, okay, I'm fine with this. And her being Martin Freeman's ex-wife, fine details, not fussed about that, but the way her role was in this and the twist at the end that she knew all along was on top of things, I was like, great, cool, fine, you're doing something with that. That character's clearly going to be important in something later on, and but it now feels that way. Like I can feel this thread coming together, which is exactly what I've been feel like it's been missing
from the post-credit scene of Black Widow and from Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and then her involvement in this that might have you. She's gonna be the Nick Fury of the Thunderbolts, essentially, which I'm fine with, and I'm glad. As you say, that
it could be really good,
and we're getting these threads finally. Fouls. I let you all down.
Yeah, I didn't. Sorry.
Things are finally starting to come together, essentially, and I hope that stays the same going forward. I kind of suspect it will, with Ant-Man at the very least, with the next movie, because Kang, and that's a thread. I'm actually, in terms of story and tying things together, I kind of think Loki season 2 might be a bit more important.
I think Loki season 2 will be important. I think Loki season 1 was important. I know you weren't as hot on it as me, but
I think it was somewhat important if they hadn't muddied the message.
Yes, I think that I don't think the intent behind Loki was what the problem was. It was the execution. So I do think the story of it is important.
Well, the last episode is important.
Yeah, that just comes down to the execution.
Fair. But I want to talk about Namor, because I think he was fucking great.
Wing the ankle man.
Tiny little wing boy.
Yeah.
Fishman.
So I tell you what I like the most.
Hannah says, do you know what won't be important? What if?
Yeah. Correct. But what if it is?
What if it went and fucked itself?
That's a cartoon I'd watch. What I liked about him the most, because you said on the review thing that you think he might be the franchise's best villain.
One of.
Well, yeah. I don't know if I personally agree with that. Not because he's bad. I just think there are much better ones there.
Okay. The only one I'd put on top, really, off the top of my head, really, would be Thanos.
It's fair enough. Fair enough.
That's largely because I can't think of... I don't think Killmonger was particularly good.
I like Killmonger.
Everyone says Killmonger is one of the best villains. I'm like, no. He had a good point, but he went about it in the stupidest fucking way possible.
Yeah, he was bad villain in that sense.
I even think Thanos had a better approach.
Yeah, he was a bad villain in terms of his ability to be a villain. But
he was an idiot.
Yes. We'll talk about Killmonger in a bit.
Release the Namor bulge gun. Imagine that being your job. What did you do today, honey? I removed a man's penis. For hours!
Imagine being that actor. They had to de-size my penis.
It would just be because, I reckon they would have done it even if he had a 1-inch wonder.
Maybe, but I know in fact, if that was me and I had found out that the film I was in, they were having to debulge me, I would be fucking pleased. That's all I'm saying.
They do it with every male superhero, though.
I know, but I would milk it. I would be like, did you know they had to make my willy smaller?
It's more just. I'm just applying context to understand that
I don't
joke.
Know who
I don't know who that is.
I don't know who that is either.
I assume it was someone who removed a penis. But it's more I don't know why it's popping up.
No, I know who that is. It's the person that invented that game where you have to flick it. Bop it. Sorry.
Awful.
So I was saying what I liked about him.
Tell that to my knees.
I liked that they kind of did this thing with him. There was a few points in the film where at least for me, I was going, is he a bad guy?
No.
What?
Namor just isn't a bad guy in them.
Oh yeah, but I mean, that the film had me like questioning it, going, "Is he a villain? Is he the bad guy?" Because he was nice and likable and relatable, and just kind of like when he's talking to her and he has her down in his city and he's just talking to her and he's like, "No, I don't want to war. It's not what I want to do at all. Like, it's not. It's just these people are a problem, and I want to stop these people from being a problem."
I agree.
And they are. As one of these people, I can confirm we're
I
a
would
problem.
be on their side, even like if we discovered there was a city underwater and they wanted to kill us all. I would help.
Yeah. I would tell you our weaknesses.
Yeah, cheese usually.
We don't have gills on our neck. That's one important weakness.
Flood us. Yes.
I'm not going to make that joke. I'll tell you off air.
No, I think that's why I think he was excellent in this.
Yeah, no, I
movie.
agree.
Well, when I say one of the greatest villains, he was one of the greatest antagonists.
Yep, fine. I'll give you that one.
Because I don't think he's a villain. He's not. In the comics, he's always been, I'm on the side that best benefits my people.
Yes.
Whether that involves him fighting alongside
Which
the
is
Avengers.
still what kind of happens in this by the end of it.
Yeah. No, it absolutely is. And
He works out
We'll get
that
to
essentially he was making the wrong move. He
stopped.
Yeah, and went, actually, no, I shouldn't be fighting you people because actually being friends with you is going to benefit them more.
Mm.
Yeah.
It was Modern Marvel. Modern Marvel was the only reason I was like, are they about to kill Namor? No. Surely not.
I see. This is one of the things where I actually wanted her to. And I'll get into that in a bit. We'll finish the Namor talk and then I'll get into that.
The Black Panther character and having a character as big as Namor.
But that's why I wanted them to do it. But we'll get into that in a minute. Carry on talking about Namor and then we'll.
No, I just think he was excellent. Perfect casting. I think the character design was excellent as well. All of his jewelry and everything. I mean, look at those. You have to be a particularly good looking.
He's talking about
man.
his diamond earring, not his bulge.
Well, I was pointing at it, not his bulge. You have to be a particularly handsome man to be able to pull off that, as well as having elf ears. I just think he looks cool as fuck.
He does. No, I agree.
And he was cool as fuck. I was expecting the flying around on his feet to look shitter than it did.
I still don't buy the physics of it. I feel like he would fly like a moth, like just be all over the place. I don't feel like
He would fly upside down.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's too top heavy. But you're talking about the physics of it.
No, actually, I'm just saying I don't buy the physics of it.
I don't understand how that happened.
It's a weird thing that's
How was that
happened.
beneficial underwater?
Yes, yeah.
If anything, there would be fins, surely.
And then they're not as helpful in the sky.
No, but it's pretty hard to look cool in green pants and a load of necklaces. So I'll play Namor. Well, I can confirm that I would not look good. He definitely looks cooler than the comic version of Namor. It's got a weird, like, vampire widow's.
Oh, right,
peak
okay.
and
Yeah, no, that's not cool.
He's either just in his tighty whities or he has a weird jumpsuit with a massive collar a lot of the time as well.
Oh.
So I'm just like, that's surely like you're trying to swim. Like,
That doesn't feel. It's like it's not it's not water dynamic.
Not at all.
Aquadynamic. What's the word?
fin-like,
Oh well, I do.
streamlined.
Yeah, all these things are acceptable. I'd say.
Well, I'd say fin-like is not
Fish man.
fish man.
I do like when Mabako just calls him a fish man and then just calls.
Okoye, bald-headed demon. I love M'Baku. I think he's one of the best fucking characters in all of Marvel. So it's a shame that he kind of got downplayed a bit in this movie. Good old Winston.
I like his impatience. Aquadynamic, maybe. Yeah, that sounds.
Streamlined. Slip and slidey.
Oh, that's it. I'm gonna go with slip and slidey.
Yeah, I agree. I think his approach and his reasoning to what he was doing, and the fact that he didn't particularly want to be doing anything that he was doing, he was just very true to the comic version of Namor, and I really liked it. I think it was a great introduction, and it's kind of like Aquaman who.
Yeah, fair enough. So I liked that when Shuri took the leaf potion, as I'm going to call it.
Heart-shaped herb.
Leaf.
There's a cat outside.
There's a cat trying to come in, isn't she? Yeah. I liked that she saw Killmonger.
Mm-hmm.
I liked that decision. I thought that was really cool. I thought it was
I think
unexpected.
It made sense based on her character development.
Yes, so do I.
Thus far.
What I wanted to see, and like clearly we disagree here, I wanted to see her go down that vengeance route. Because it was clearly, he was clearly saying to her, like, are you going to be noble like your brother? Or are you going to be like me? And then you don't see the conversation end. And then when you get to the point when she's beat Namor in the fight, and she's on top of him, and she can just strike, you get that, she's thinking it through, and you go back to finishing that conversation. And the end of that conversation, she's like, I'm not my brother. And she's angry, and understandably, because this man has now killed her mum, which is all she has left at this point. So I get it. But I kind of like the idea of them just going for, fuck it, she is not the noble T'Challa we've had. And she goes the other way, she goes on vengeance, and goes for a darker route, and it's a twist on the Black Panther. And yes, it's not what the Black Panther is supposed to be, and all of this kind of stuff. I would have liked to have seen them do that, go down that route, just kill him. Maybe even knows that she maybe made the wrong decision and focus on that, and then give that the next set of character progression we need to see for Shuri, because she's going to be back as Black Panther. Mm-hmm. There's no way this is the last time we're seeing. Otherwise, I don't think they would have bothered.
No, it literally says the very, very end of the credits, because obviously...
I didn't sit that far.
It's because I told you there wasn't one. Yes. Yeah. It says Black Panther will return.
Right, yeah. So I think that would have been cool to see that then it's what they've got to do. Then next is her having to become better. Is to become better than what Killmonger was, and become like her brother, realise she's made mistakes in the past, and fix the fact that she's been on that darker path. I think that would have been an interesting story that we haven't really seen the MCU do.
No, I would have don't disagree. That. The only disagreement I have is you can't kill Namor.
That's fine. That's fine.
That's the only objection to that idea that I have. So even if it was like she tried, but like Okoye and M'Baku were the ones that stopped her or something.
Yeah,
like
I just think...
Or if it was anyone other than Namor, essentially.
I just think that the idea of her looking up in the distance, thinking back, and then going, no, I'm going to be like my brother, and not kill... It just felt easy and just obvious. It was like, okay, yeah, it's a superhero film.
Yeah, exactly. It's a superhero film. It kind of needs to at some point. We keep seeing Marvel wanting to subvert expectations. It's like, can't you do it in an interesting way like that? Instead of giving me fucking She-Hulk where to climb out of the fucking show. When we do something like that, that's just... My biggest praise on the Star Wars film that everyone hates, The Last Jedi, is the fact that they just go, no, the bad guy's going to switch, and we're going to have a switch here and think about it and look at things differently and go down a different route. They immediately fucked up on, went back on it within 5 seconds of doing it, but I liked that twist. I like, we're going to see something different here, and it would have been nice to see that, I think, and I think Shuri could have delivered that well, because I actually think she's at her best when she's angry. No, I agree.
And is that kind of motivation to the way she's performing, so I think it would have suited her character well going forward, and maybe wrap me in more. So that's the only thing where it's like, I would have maybe written that differently, but it works well, and it does end. It rounds everything up nicely and ends everything off in a way that it rounds off the film. It makes sense for
No, I think maybe they could have done that slightly differently, where they used one of the two. So there was, I can't remember the other guy's name, but there was Namor.
Yeah,
Namor as well. Maybe have that moment, but with one of them.
Yeah, maybe
instead of Namor, because they have plans for Namor. Clearly,
yeah, absolutely.
Clearly, which would have been one of the big deciding factors in doing that as well.
They've done he's a mutant, so I feel like that's going to become the fact we've had 2 mutants now. That both of them.
So for a lot of people, this is
the first but one. Both of them aren't mutants in the comics, are they? Because
Namor, I did a Google afterwards because I was pretty confident that he's not. In the comics.
Well, Kamala Khan's
she's an Inhuman.
She's an Inhuman,
in the comics. So Ms. Marvel definitely isn't. But fuck off.
All right, fuck off.
But they're very weird about it. See, this is what annoys me. Half human and half Atlantean, the mutant Namor.
So
within less than a sentence, you've contradicted yourself.
Yeah.
So he's clearly not half human and half Atlantean if he's a mutant. And some people say yes. Some people born as a mutant hybrid. What's a mutant hybrid? Mutant Atlantean. Yes, I think he's meant to be a mutant, to be fair. But
either way, that's now 2 mutants within close proximity. So they're setting up the fact that the mutants are a thing now that they can do. So
yeah, and they're doing it in a way, not necessarily with Ms. Marvel, but with this, they're doing it in a way where it's like, they've been here the entire time.
yes,
Yeah, we just don't know.
yeah, we just haven't encountered them yet in our storylines.
The comics are really confusing as well because there's like mutant hybrid, whatever that is. There's mutants, and then there's mutates as well.
Yes,
In the comics, like Spider-Man is a mutate. It's basically Captain America would, to a degree, technically be a mutate as well. It's when your DNA is changed after birth. But it's all nice and confusing. Comics. I would like to say, I think the action sequences in this movie are fucking great as well.
Yep, some great stuff.
I think, true to most superhero movies, the one at the end is probably the least interesting one.
Yeah, that tends to be the case.
Yeah.
So still good stuff there.
For sure.
I really, really liked the use of the slow-mo shots.
Mm-hmm.
The slow-mo shots they did all looked fucking awesome. Like, they used them at really good times. It was like, that looks great.
Yep. Yeah, I think the one in particular that I thought was really fucking cool and just great was the invasion of Wakanda.
Mm-hmm.
And I just thought everything they did there, flooding the city, the water grenades, excellent. Don't know what use there'd be for them as a general species to have underwater.
They would have been developed specifically for attacking the surface world.
No, yeah, I know.
They have no one to fight underwater. They're the only ones there.
Big fish? You're telling me that they're not going to get fucked up by a great white?
Well, they ride orcas.
Yeah, fair point. A species that's probably more violent than the great whites.
Yeah.
Maybe it's to prevent accidental eatings from a blue whale.
Maybe. Maybe.
Just yawn and suddenly the children are gone.
Fish are friends, not food.
Exactly. But I thought that scene was great. Let's fuck this place up and just show that we're... And I think that was the point where you go, no. Because obviously of that scene in the court and the UN earlier, which showed how strong Wakanda is, to then go to this like an hour later or whatever it was, of them being very easily fucked by this new entity. It kind of just went, these people may have some legs in this war. It was also one of those things of if her mother had just untwisted her knickers, the entire thing may have been prevented.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of that.
Shuri was on it pretty fucking well, to be quite honest. There was that bit in the end, towards the end of their conversation, where it's like, we are attacking the surface, but you can either be with us or be our first stop, type thing. But and obviously they did then become the first stop, but they were hashing it out. They were working through, and it was.
Well, it seemed like Shuri was making progress. It seemed like they were finding a common ground at least, and maybe hadn't worked it out yet, but were due to.
Yeah. And then Nakia just showed up and murdered people.
Yeah. And Shuri again was like, "No, hang on, we've got to save her. It's going to start a war if we don't deal with this."
Mm-hmm. Well, and it did. Yeah. She was right.
Yeah,
she was right. I also that's kind of one of the a small reason as to why I don't think she should have killed Namor as well, is because she actually agrees with him as well.
Yes, yeah, there is that.
But that's kind of by that point she had kind of passed that because he killed her mother.
Yeah.
Yes. It's very easy to forget that you agree with someone on a topic when they start murdering your family members. I did think that for a second funeral in a movie, that one went on a bit too long. I was like, Is this the same scene? Have they just CG replaced the sigil on, on the coffin?
Probably, yeah. They probably did do that.
Oh, yes. They didn't make that coffin. They don't make anything. I don't think there was a Black Panther suit. Still done the thing of the mask just disappears whenever they want.
Some nanotech in the mask.
I hate that so much. Look, it's one of the things watching Iron Man. I was like, I love this. There was a tangible. Hello. Oh.
Yeah.
It looked better than that, but
It's just Robert Downey Jr. Hello. Hello.
Peekaboo. A tangible.
Have you seen that comedian Ross Noble, who does the thing about gluing meat to your face? There's a whole thing about gluing meat to your face, and then you could have a string that goes up down here, the thing, so you could just pull the meat back, and then it went down your face. Just reminded me of.
Right. Okay. What were we talking about before Flappy
Meat on your face. No, we stopped talking about Nameless Bulger a while ago, actually.
Oh, yes, that's true. That's true. No, I miss the days of having a tangible fucking suit in the MCU, and not everyone having a suit that can just fizzle away.
No, I agree. Yeah.
At will. No, I really love this movie. The fact that it was a proper war movie as well. It wasn't just the big fight at the end, because it was Infinity War definitely had elements of it was a war movie, but not quite to this degree. You had the negotiations and everything turning south and the losses to separate things in the battle and all this, that, and the other, and everything come together to, all right, we're going to fuck you up now. And it was a good plan. Didn't work, but it was a good plan. Do I buy that Shuri would have won that fight? No. Honestly. No, but it was a good plan. Dry him out. To be honest, if you put me in a sauna, I'm going to be pretty fucking useless as well. I don't do well with heat. And I'm not a fish man. I'm just rambling at this point. I really like this movie.
Now, I was thinking about 20 minutes ago. You said that we'd do the scoring thing, but you've already scored this.
I have, haven't I?
So we have Rabbit Hole have already scored this.
I probably would have given it a different score as well, which would have been quite funny.
Oh, see, because I do agree with the score you gave it.
I've got so many emails. Anyway. Yeah, well, I gave it an 8, didn't I?
You did. And I agree with that. I do agree. I know I said at the beginning, like, negative sort of feeling, but it is a good film. Like, I definitely think it's actually better than the first one.
Oh. Far and away.
Yeah.
Far and away
than
better.
The first one.
What did I put as my only 2 issues with the movie?
I think it's a minor pacing.
Minor pacing.
Which is what I thought, and a slightly abrupt end. Which,
I actually think, like, it was both...
I don't even know what that was.
Oh, that was weird. It was both really abrupt, but also dragged out.
Yeah, it was weird, wasn't it?
The actual end.
The actual end happened, and then there was just this other stuff.
But yeah, and the end I thought was too abrupt in that it was just a mid-fight and then just friends.
That may be beyond my ability.
I think I just got rejected by Siri.
Oh, you just got schooled.
Wow.
Schooled? Who says that?
Wow. And yeah, so it was literally just fight, friends? And then that was the end of the movie. They had a bit of a cheer. But then there was some after bits. I like the fact that there are after bits.
I did think it was weird that they kind of like flew back to the big boat they were fighting on, and Namor was like, "We're done here. We're going home." And they went, "Okay." I would have been like, "What about the? Hang on, hang on, Namor. You said we were gonna destroy the surface world because they're a threat to us. What do you mean we're done here? What's going on? What's happening?" Like, I would have had questions.
Yes, but I feel like in a real situation, you would wait till we got home.
No, I'm particularly vocal when I disagree with my employers.
I feel in an army, that's a good way to go to prison.
Maybe.
But hey, free rent.
Their
Free
prison
food?
seemed alright. Shuri was in prison with them, and she was getting given clothes. She was imprisoned.
She was captured.
You're captured. I don't know what that means.
Okay. But no, the bits at the end, I like the bits at the end. It was essentially Namor clearly very happy on the situation because they're already started doing a painting.
Yeah.
Being like, I'm going to paint this girl now.
People in jail are guarded. You have jail guards. Otherwise, they'd get out.
That's not what that says. It says she was being guarded, but she wasn't in jail. As in, she couldn't just leave, but she wasn't imprisoned. She wasn't in a cell, basically. She was in a weird underwater, not underwater cave. I know they exist, but they baffle me.
Underwater caves?
Yeah.
Yeah, a weird physic thing with
How?
a weird pocket of air. Yeah, it's odd.
How do people get in? Because surely if people can get in, water can get in.
It's not quite how they... Because the water level is like... if you have
Yeah, no, but they're underwater. Therefore, there's more water, and therefore it could just go... bloop. my thing is, I don't understand why it doesn't. I know it doesn't.
Because there's oxygen in there.
There's oxygen in water.
No, but it's the air pressure differential.
I'll ask Matt later.
I bet you'll say something along the lines of because
It'll
it
be the
does.
difference in it. Because it does. Yeah. He was talking about the different science of superheroes and how they could work in real life and stuff. So I just wanted to throw him off and there's no physical explanation for this. It's pure mumbo jumbo, and threw Green Lantern at him, and then he just went on about a 15, 20-minute explanation of how you could. I was like, what the fuck? So how have you just scienced Green Lantern, which is about a magical alien ring that constructs hard light constructions based on your willpower? But he did.
God, that film's shit, isn't it?
Green Lantern?
Yeah.
Awful.
Yeah, we're not doing that one ever.
No, we're not. So even if we did the DC universe, thankfully...
Skip it.
That's not part of it.
Oh, is it not? Okay, good.
No, it's not part of it.
That might be the smartest thing the DC universe has done.
Hannah says, I like the joke about her lungs crushed, or you can wear a suit. We have those too. Yeah, I enjoyed that as well. I just like the idea of, I've got this lying around. It's a big old suit. I know why they stole it from the people.
That scene was haunting.
There was. What I love is I have a strong love about when they take like a horror approach to filming superheroes.
Yes, I totally agree.
Like Batman Begins in the shipping yard.
Yeah, fucking so good.
I would even say in the Incredible Hulk last week in the warehouse.
Yep.
You've got obviously that scene in Wakanda Forever where they take where they're invading the rig. Fucking Lord above.
All of the Batman, I'd say. Or a big chunk of it.
A lot of the stuff where
with Riddler and stuff.
Oh yeah, but yeah, he's not superhuman, I suppose. But no, there's Batman. But I also think in the Avengers, the first time Hulk breaks out when it's filmed from Black Widow's perspective of her being chased down, so there is a degree of like a monster horror element to that. And I would love a fucking full blown horror movie.
Yeah, I mean the closest we've had is Multiverse of Madness, and even then it's not.
Yeah, but that's a completely different style of horror, and it's not the superhero being. I would love essentially just a movie filmed from like a bad guy's perspective, or like a short film of someone being hunted down by a superhero, a group of people being picked off one by one, and it's filmed from their perspective, and you never really get a good look at like Batman or Spider-Man or like trying to survive in a situation where Hulk is on the loose in a helicarrier, for example, just filmed from their perspective. I think that would be so fucking good. We'll never get it, but
Could be cool.
Yeah.
So are we agreeing on this score?
Yeah. I wouldn't change it. So 8. A bit good, isn't it? And yes, it is a bit good. I'm wondering if Brightburn But I don't know, it's slightly different. Brightburn is essentially evil Superman. That's what it is. And it is a horror movie. But, again, you're following Brightburn. I don't know what they call him. You're following Brightburn in that movie. I want the superhero to be the... I know there are some scenes where you're following the... people he's after and people he's killing and what have you, but I think what I want is like properly just from a general Crook's perspective, and there's a group of them hiding out after robbing somewhere, like hiding out in a warehouse or something, and they're being picked off one by like Spider-Man or something. I think that would be... or Batman makes more sense. Be cool as shit. But anyway, I'm kind of looking forward to see what we say again in June and where we end up placing this.
Yeah, I mean, I'll probably rewatch it again when it hits Disney Plus.
I might wait until we get to June. It depends how... If it's like January, like we think it'll be, then I probably will. And then I'll happily watch it again for like June.
For me, it's just because I like watching things in IMAX on my TV.
That's fair.
Because I only saw this in normal cinema.
I mean, that's still going to be better than watching it in IMAX on your TV.
Oh, I don't think it is. I honestly don't think it is. Because I was watching it going, my TV looks better than this. I honestly don't think it is.
True, it's not in Dolby.
Yeah,
It's in the normal cinema.
Yeah, like, and I was looking at it going, like, it doesn't even look like it's in 4K. Like,
It will be. It's in a higher resolution.
oh, it just doesn't look. Just,
No. They're in a higher resolution. It'll just be, obviously, you've got Dolby and all that
Yeah.
stuff.
I think I just like the look of OLED screens, particularly. I think is what it is.
I mean, to be fair, I don't like other cinema screens. I like IMAX.
Yeah.
That's why I'm just like, do you want to go and see this something not IMAX? No. We'll just wait until it's at home. What's the point?
Yeah, but that's why I won't go to see it in IMAX now, because I have to pay a fortune to see it in IMAX when I can get it pretty much in IMAX here.
That's fair. it's the size and the sound for me. I don't get that.
I understand that. For me, it's just not worth
Also,
the arm and the leg it costs.
I don't have to pay that. So.
Yeah, that's also true.
Although I do.
You pay a premium, but you don't pay the 20 quid ticket it's going to cost me.
I pay like £4.
Yeah.
But
We
that's
paid
because I've already paid.
We paid like 14 quid or something for these tickets.
It's ridiculous. Cinema is ridiculously expensive, and they're wondering why they're going out of business.
Yes.
Because people have to fucking plan and save to go to the cinema to watch a fucking movie. It's insane. Insane how expensive it is. And
especially when it
it
is like now, when you've got 2 months before they come to Disney Plus anyway.
Yeah.
And
And
for people that don't actually care, like really care,
most people.
yeah, just wait.
Yep.
And honestly, if we weren't doing this, I think I probably would have waited.
That's fair. I wouldn't. I can't.
I used to be like that, but because I've kind of fallen out of love with it.
Nah. I still can't. I still can't do it. Still can't wait. Because I'm impatient, and also I don't want to take the risk of something being spoiled for me.
I understand that entirely. Yeah.
I just don't want to take that risk. However, I'm getting to a point now where, considering pretty much all I go and see is Marvel movies, it probably will be cheaper for me to cancel my Cineworld card and just go and pay for the Marvel movies. Because I've just got another email saying it's going up again. Fuck off. The unlimited card is going up again. So it's going to cost about an IMAX movie a month anyway.
Yeah.
So if I'm not going every month, what's the fucking point? It is nice to just be able to say, do you want to go to cinema, and then not have to pay anything on the day. But would I be that fussed to not be able to do that? Probably not. And then if it gets to a point where I'm just like, oh, there is a lot of movies coming out that I want to see, just sign it back up again.
Yeah.
It's not overly difficult.
Fair enough.
Anyway, thank you very much for joining, Hannah. For our thoughts on Wakanda Forever, we will once again be back at this movie on the 3rd of June, I think I worked out, providing that one of us isn't dead. Or both of us. Who knows? Who knows?
I don't plan to make it past the 24th of January, so.
I don't plan on making it past the 10th of June. So maybe this will be my last thing ever. When we do it again, it'll be my last thing. Just I rank Wakanda Forever and then die. I don't know when this ends, to be quite honest. We discussed this the other day, because obviously Ant-Man, probably justifiable enough-ish to watch it again and talk about it again when it come back around in June, which would have to be moved, because that means it will be on the 10th of June, and that's my birthday. So we're not doing that on the day. Or maybe we will, I don't... Actually, my 30th. I kind of feel like if I'm going to die, I should go out with a bang, really. But then Guardians is in May, so it kind of feels like, why would we do it
Are we
in
doing
May?
anything for the Guardians Christmas special?
I think it probably makes sense to just slap it onto do a She-Hulk Werewolf by Night situation.
Oh, so we'll talk about it on whatever thing we're doing about that week. Fine by me.
I can't remember what date. I think it comes out in a few days.
Yes. Yeah, it's this week.
Oh, shit.
I'm sure it's this
week. We can just do it when we talk about whatever.
I don't know if I would have watched it by Saturday.
Or the week after.
Because Camilla goes away.
Guardians of the Galaxy... Galaxy.
Oh,
Holiday special.
that's a very different show.
25th. So that is... Oh, in 3 days. That's Friday. So we won't
Yeah, I
do
won't
it
be
for...
seeing
So we'll
it.
do it the week after. We'll do it for Thor. Thor and
Yep, fine by me.
Guardians. Are you guys ever going to do Lord of the Rings? No.
I'm up for doing Lord of the Rings, but Jack
I will
does not like those
I-
at all.
It'll be a Thanksgiving thing. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. I hate Lord of the Rings. It's probably the thing that I both despise but understand the love of the most. It's weird. I fully get it. Completely get why people like Lord of the Rings, and I completely get why those films were as successful as they were, and why people then went back for the books. Hate it.
Fair enough.
It's-
That answers your question, Hannah. Go and watch them.
Just watch them. Especially, do you want to do the director's cut? No, I haven't got time to take a week off work. Per movie. 12, it's like 14 hours to watch 3 movies. And then you got the 3 even fucking worse Hobbit movies, to the point where even Lord of the Rings fans don't like it. And then, this is why were you brave enough to make a Lord of the Rings TV show?
I wasn't.
That wasn't aimed at you. That was just a general... Why would anyone be brave enough to make a Lord of the Rings TV show, considering they know what these basement dwellers are like?
I'm not sure why I'm brave enough to do this.
What, talk about Marvel?
This?
Yeah, fair. But at least our opinions are correct.
This is true. Except for when we don't agree. And then mine are.
That is not correct, because I bought the chocolate.
That might be the most compelling argument you've ever made about anything ever.
I don't understand how you make a sub 400-page book into 3-hour movies, because Peter Jackson is not...
Where are you going? What are you trying to call him?
is nonsense.
Oh, okay.
Have you seen on the there was
Why are we putting off going rogue?
this just popped into my head, which is why I wanted to tell you.
Okay.
Now. There was a clip from, I think it was an Australian radio show, and you know they film inside now and put it on social media and what have you. Someone was reading out a question but stopped halfway through, and they said, "In which and then everyone else just went, "Tree." And Julie went, I stopped because it says which city. I just loved the panic. Anyway, coming up on the channel.
Yes, Hannah, you should.
I was going to do it as well, but if you would like to do it, that'd be lovely and appreciated.
If you could summon multiple people other than just Rick, that'd be great.
Yeah.
As many people as you could possibly find.
That'd be great. But coming up on the channel immediately after this, we will be back for a Going Rogue. Once again, there is no gaming stream this week because Rich is going to watch this movie. Should have done that earlier, shouldn't you, Rich?
Well,
We'll make him come back and watch this afterwards, and
Pillock.
then he'll see this message and then feel bad.
Yep.
He won't feel bad, and nor should he.
I disagree. Yes, you should.
Saturday, we will be back to continue our full ranking of the MCU.
Beg your pardon?
With an R.
You sick bastard.
We haven't even got there yet. Gotten to the video yet, and we're beating the joke into the ground.
It's a joke in itself.
Yes. Coming up Saturday, we'll be back for a full ranking of the MCU with Iron Man 2. We had an on-air realization that we hadn't done something.
We still haven't done it.
That we still haven't done. So I presume it's not going to happen.
We'll find out later.
We will. But we also said that on
Yep.
Saturday. So
Yeah, by later, might be Sunday, but it will be later than now.
fair point. I can't argue that at all. And then it will just be MCU weekly from there.
There'll probably be another God of War thing at some point.
Oh yes, I know, but we don't know when that is.
No. Hey, Katie's here.
You said that really strangely.
You said it really strangely.
I didn't know. I didn't say it.
Well, that's why it was strange.
We'll be back in a mere moment.
TTFN.
Ta-ta for now.